Across the country, we are seeing waves of Canadian pride in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff threats. Politicians, even former prime ministers, are encouraging people to show their support. And the CBC's Mark Carcassol is on the story and joins me now. So, Mark, this support is being encouraged ahead of an important day.
Yes, it is a very important day. Tomorrow is Flag Day, and it's a day that I think up until now many of us have just sort of seen as just a day. It's noted on a calendar if you bought it in Canada, and it kind of, yeah, we love Canada and all that, but it is certainly seeing some renewed focus today with, as Andrew mentioned, not only the threats of tariffs, but also the constant rhetoric on the part of the U.S. president about Canada eventually becoming the 51st state. You can say it's a joke, you could say it's just innocent musing, you could say it's just a strategy on his part, but it definitely is rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, and he did it again yesterday in the Oval Office when he was talking about his list of reciprocal tariffs, including Canada. He took aim at our digital services tax. He says Canada is not paying its 2% of GDP share of NATO defense spending, which is in fact accurate. You can't fault him on that one. And he just insists that Canada would be a better place if it was the United States.
Canada is just about the lowest payer also, they shouldn't be. They are just about the lowest payer in NATO in addition to everything else. So Canada's really been taken advantage of. And if they had to pay just something modestly fair, they wouldn't be able to succeed as a country. And that's why I feel they have to become a state.
So those harsh words bring us back to the point of Flag Day. An open letter from the 5 still living prime ministers issued Joe Clark, Kim Campbell, Jean Chrétien, Paul Martin, and Stephen Harper, telling Canadians to show the flag as never before this year on February 15th. Let's fly our flag with pride, they say. Let's show the world that we are proud of our history and proud of our country. All great things that you should be every day, 365 days a year, certainly, but tomorrow, especially, according to them. However, there are those out there who feel that we need to take a more aggressive approach in responding to the rhetoric coming out of the White House. One of those people is NDP MP Charlie Angus, who took time during a news conference to say that we need to do more. We need to boycott.
Now, some might think, well, if you just choose not to go down to Tennessee this year, who's going to notice? Well, right now, we're seeing the American tourism industry is in full-on panic. There are now over $2 billion in travel that is at risk. That's 140,000 American jobs. That's if just 10% of Canadians cancel their trips. It's still too early to say how many are canceling, but from the evidence that we're gathering, it's much, much higher than 10%.
So as you can hear there, he's encouraging us not to take vacations in the U.S., to boycott certain products that could hit them, individual producers particularly hard, like Kentucky bourbon. And there are those in Washington who are either disturbed by the president's comments, or we've heard some say over the course of the day that they don't really take it too seriously. They think it's just sort of a negotiating tactic. Matthew Bartlett is a Republican strategist who Artie Pohl spoke to a little earlier today on CBC News Network. He says he thinks it's more of a strategy because Trump has been known to speak very harshly about people he wants something from, but when he gets something or some sort of compromise anyway, then he tends to get all lovey-dovey. He thinks this might be the case here too.
Donald Trump, let's remember, even with foreign leaders around the world, is happy to read them the Riot Act, is happy to call them almost every name in the book, and then bury the hatchet, stand next to them, and compliment them.
Many Canadians out there are hoping that that's all of this is, obviously, him trying to get some good footing. What we also do hope for is a win for Canada in tomorrow's game against the U.S. in the Four Nations face-off. That's going to make for some great hockey. Politics aside, it's just going to be a great game. But all of that is on the back of the minds of the players and especially the fans in Montreal.
It sure is. Yeah, I think there's heightened interest this time. Mark, thank you. CBC's Mark Carcassol.